May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free from harm. May all beings love life. May all beings awaken. Welcome to another Gook Audio mini podcast. I pray that you and yours are safe and comfortable, free from economic hardship, and able to get out and do whatever it is you want within the limitations of the universal precept of do as little harm as possible. Today's mini podcast is a snippet from Tassajara Stories. It's called Ryuho. Ryuho Yamada was the young Soto priest who came to Zen Center in 1971. He was supposed to go to Tassajara right away to help out, but he knew shiatsu and stayed in the city treating Suzuki frequently in his final months. He loved a lot of what he found at Zen Center and out on the streets in the city, especially the hippie scene. He went to Tassajara soon after Suzuki's death and attended the next practice period led by Dainin Katagiri. Ryuho called him a really fierce man. That was not a usual description of Katagiri, but he didn't have to adapt to a Japanese monk as he did with us. That reminds me of something a neighbor said to me years later when I lived in Japan and was telling her how gracious and generous Japanese are. Yes, to you, she said, but not to each other. Ryuho arrived awfully naive, but he was open to changing that. He easily adjusted and blended in with us, and he was helpful. He'd show us how he'd learned to hit the drums and bells and so forth, but he didn't try to be an example, was more interested in learning from us. He said, "The main difference between Zen Center and a Japanese monastery is male and female were living together. Another difference is the sensitivity about food. Zen Center food is very delicious and excellent. So good. I enjoyed it every day. I learned to eat brown rice there. People thought white rice was almost poison." Suzuki Roshi was not really a formal Roshi in Japan. He was just a head priest, a Jushoku. He treated me as a priest with respect, but did not take a higher position at all. Uchiyama Roshi was like that too, being from Sawaki Koto's lineage, but most Roshis are very hard to even see. They are way beyond. Suzuki Roshi was very here, very casual. He gave the very crisp talking. The real source was his purity, like a child, and his relationship with his wife. How unusual it was. Well, that's all I have down there for Ryuho. I have tons on Ryuho on Gook.com. And in terms of Tassajara Stories, he might not fit in there. You know, I mean, there's way more material here than I could use. But I don't know. I think what he said there is really interesting and sort of touching. Oh, he and I were really close. Yeah, what a character. He died, I don't know, 10 years ago. But, you know, he's one of the people I could just do a profile on. And I think about that with Tassajara Stories. There's some of these people I have so much on, and it's so interesting. And I have too much material, so why not pull a lot of that out and just do a bunch of profiles of people. That would be easier than putting together a whole book that flowed from beginning to end. That's hard work. Thank you and okay and crooked cucumber. Whoa. I don't really care anymore to do that, but I think I will have to do it somewhat. We'll see. We'll see. And I'm working with Wendy Piercing on Tassajara Stories. Not really working on it much, mainly just reading now and thinking about it some and trying to get some other stuff out of the way before I can get to it. So we'll see what happens. And we'll see what happens with Ryuho. Boy, I can tell you some stuff about him. Whoa. Okay. This has been a Cuke Audio mini podcast, a Tassajara story. I'm DC Poobah of Cuke Audio and Cuke Archives, coming to you from Sleepy Sonora with Doghead Bandita, Feline Cuchita, and dear lovely Katrinka. And we're wishing you and yours and all of us a grand awakening.